been acquitted who's been acquitted of all charges. As soon as the judgment was announced, protests erupted outside the court. There was high drama inside as a shoe was hurled at the judge.
अन्याय तो चलो जो हुआ, अरे आज तो न्याय मिलता।
सिखा का 30 साल का विश्वास टुट गया लोकतंत्र दे विच।
ये समय था इतिहास को ठीक करने का।
But despite those slogans, those angry slogans, will there ever be justice for the victims of 1984, or is it in many ways the forgotten riot? That is, according to many, an outrageous judgment from a Delhi court. Will it go into appeal? Will the CBI appeal against it? Remember, it was the court that forced the CBI to reopen its investigation against Jagdish Titler. Will the judiciary step in, and how many years will it take? Let's introduce our panel this evening. Joining us tonight, Manishankar Iyer, Member of Parliament of the Congress Party. Also joining us, Naresh Gujral, Member of Parliament with the Akali Dal. With us in the studio, we still have Tavleen Singh, Senior Journalist and Commentator. We're also joined tonight by H.S. Phoolka. He's of course been the lawyer who's been petitioning and fighting tirelessly for the victims of 1984, and to tell her own story in her own words, her tragedy, and yet the battle that she continues to fight is Jagdish Kaur. 5 members of her family were killed. She lost 3 brothers, her husband and her son. Manishankar Iyer, let me start with you. There are those who invested faith in a judicial process. They've been fighting now for over 2 decades. To get a judgment like this is heartbreaking for them. You saw the anger among people, you've seen the grief among families, who today went to the judge and said, if you're not going to convict Sajjan Kumar, you may as well hang us, because we have nothing left to believe in.
So what do I have to say about that?
Do you
I respect the judge. I respect our judicial process, and the judge has come to a conclusion. The judicial process allows for appeal. I don't see any reason at all why a few minutes ago you were praising the judicial process because it was slamming our government, and now from the nature of your questions you're slamming the judicial process because it doesn't cater to your TRIPS ratings. My point is very simple. The issue today is, were 6 people guilty? And the court has decided that 5 are and 1 isn't. And I see no reason to question that. And if there are those who see reason to question it, they're welcome to resort to the judicial process to go further. But I do not believe in kangaroo courts, and I do not think a mob outside the court has a greater authority to pronounce on guilt and innocence than a judge who is trained and required to weigh the evidence and give a view. I don't really know why I am on this program, except that you bullied me to be on it. I have said everything I need to say, and I really don't have anything to add.
Mr. H.S. Phoolka, if I can get you in there, does Manishankar Iyer make a legitimate argument in saying that at some point the courts have to be the last word? Of course, the families in this case could appeal, this could go up to a higher court, but in a sense, just like the BJP has made the same argument in 2002, the Congress is making that argument in 1984. This is the court's decision. What does it have to do with them?
You see, what is Mr. Iyer's party has to explain it, that all this time they didn't even register the case against the Sajjan Kumar, and then when the case is registered, the 6 police officers of Delhi police come forward and give evidence in favor of Sajjan Kumar. They say that Sajjan Kumar did not come to the area, we have seen it, and no person has made any statement against Sajjan Kumar. The CBI's own investigation shows that the Delhi police has fudged the records. Delhi police removed the complaint of the Jagdish Kaur from the records, and to that, and now the government also has to explain that in another case, the Sajjan Kumar a charge sheet was prepared against him in 1992 for the murder of 4 Sikhs.
Yes.
Till today, that charge sheet which is signed on 8th April 92 is not even presented in the court. And then in this Delhi Kent case, after the investigations are transferred to the CBI, the Delhi police in October investigation is transferred to CBI into October 2005. In December, Delhi police filed a closer report in the case of Sajjan Kumar.
Okay.
In this way, the Delhi police, which is continuously going to shield Sajjan Kumar, and that Delhi police officer who has withheld the charge sheet from 92 to till for 21 years, he is given promotion. He is today posted as a DCP in the Prime Minister's office. So the government has to explain.
Naresh Gujral, if I can bring you in, there are legal points being raised by H.S. Phoolka, but in a sense, once the Congress takes the position that the judicial process has to be allowed to unfold at its own pace, though there are questions of why 6 Delhi police officers were actually witnesses for the defense. But is the Akali Dal also in danger of politicizing a very serious pogrom that took place in this country? We are seeing dangerous signs of the revival of extremism in Punjab today. So there are those who will say that the Akalis also have to be careful to not play with fire here.
Barka, when an entire community feels wronged and loses faith in the judicial system, I think it poses a great threat to the very fabric of our democracy. We are not going to politicize it. It's a sad day because today it has proven that might is right. When a similar thing happened in Gujarat, all the Congress people were shouting from rooftops that the judicial system was not working. And finally, the Supreme Court intervened and suo moto, they ordered a SIT under their own supervision. I don't understand why selective secularism. Why should this not be done also in this case where 7,000 innocent people were butchered all over North India? I do hope Supreme Court will wake up and redress this grievance of the Sikhs. Not just the Sikhs, I would say all Punjabis and all right-thinking Indians.
Manisha Karayar, this issue of selective secularism is an important point. You say that the court must, it's the court's job to decide. If the court were to make a similar conclusion in 2002, or in the 2002 riots about who's culpable and who's not, would you and the Congress be as accepting?
The court has to first do that. In neither case has the court delivered a definitive verdict. In the present case, a lower court has said so. It can go in appeal to a higher court, and the Supreme Court has every right to suo moto decide that it wants to do something else, and I would object to none of that. But I do not see why, if the court decides one way, it's selective secularism, and if it decides the other way, then it is total secularism. I don't understand this argument at all. There is the argument being made by my close friend Naresh Gujral that not only all the Sikhs but all the Punjabis are infuriated. In that case, why have they more than once after 1989 and indeed after 1984 elected Congress governments in Punjab?
But you don't accept the argument for Modi.
A majority of Congress candidates. No, wait a minute. I have two arguments to make. I was answering a specific point made by Naresh Gujral.
Okay.
He was claiming to speak on behalf of not only all Sikhs but all Punjabis. The fact of the matter is that the verdict that has come in from Punjab has
and all
sometimes
right-thinking
been in
Indians.
our favor and sometimes been in favor of Naresh Gujral. There is a judicial process. That judicial process can either work at the instance of citizens or it can work at the instance of the court itself. And as far as we are concerned, as far as I am concerned, and don't forget, I am married to a Sikh and 2 of my 3 daughters are married to Sikhs. So I have a great vested interest in this matter.
Okay.
Much more than Naresh Gujral, I am Sikh. And as a partial Sikh, I want to see justice done. But I don't think Mr. Phoolka can be both prosecutor and judge. And I don't think mobs mobilized outside the court can determine what has happened or not happened.
Okay, I want to get Jagdeep.
I think if we want to respect the judicial process in the 2G scam, or in the CWG scam, or in the Colgate scam, or in this case of Ashwini Kumar, you have to respect the courts also in the case of Sajjan Kumar.
Okay.
If Sajjan Kumar had been found guilty today, do you think you would have held a program just now? You're only holding it because you believe that the only way you can get justice for the 7,000 killed Sikhs is not by holding 5 people guilty who were responsible for the killing, but somehow to bring in a prominent Congress leader, because all you're after is vengeance, not justice.
Tavleed, there is, just putting aside my supposed vengeance, the question is this. There is a tricky question here. When do you treat a court verdict as the final word on something? Of course, there's a long process to go here, and money concedes that. This is a lower court. But the point being made...
That is the point. Do you know that when we sit here, when I sit here, not just as a Sikh, but as a citizen of India, it shames me, as it should shame Manishankar Iyer and Naresh Gujral and everybody else in this country, that it's taken 29 years to get here.
Yeah.
If justice had been done in the first instance, we wouldn't be sitting here and there wouldn't be mobs outside the court, Mani. Justice has not been seen to be done, which is why there is this anger.
Yeah.
And the anger is justified because it's not just the country of the Sikhs, and it's not just a question of the Sikhs. It's a question, do you want to live in a country where your child could be walking down the street and be killed by mobs? And you know, Naresh knows well, he had vigilante squads. You know, anyone who was here saw what happened. Everyone saw the mobs. Everyone saw Congress MPs. Now, you know, none of us can prove all of this, but we have seen it. And you know, I want to just say one more thing. Phoolka Saab, well done, Phoolka Saab, for having fought single-handedly without even the support of other Sikhs on this. Because most Sikhs, including me, just feel that this is not a country where justice can be done.
So at some point you just say move on.
Political parties can take charge of courts and manipulate things, as has been done in this case.
Now somebody who hasn't given up the fight is Jagdish Kaur. हिंदी में ही बोलूंगी. जगदीश जी, आपके साथ तो बहुत बड़ा हादसा हुआ. आपके परिवार के 5 लोग मारे गए. कौन कौन?
एक मेरा हस्बैंड था
जी,
बेटा बड़ा, 3 भाई, वो MES के ठेकेदार थे. मेरा हस्बैंड आर्मी में वो EME में काम करता था, बेटा BSc ऑनर्स कर रहा था.
आपको क्यों लगता है कि जो आज का ये जो हादसा हुआ आपके साथ, उसमें सज्जन कुमार का हाथ था?
अरे भाई, मैंने तो आंखों से देखा है इसको कहते हुए, आंखों कानों से सुना है, आंखों से देखा है. 2 तरीक को मॉब को कह रहा था कि सिख साला एक नहीं बचना चाहिए. जो हिंदू इनको छुपाता है उनके घर भी जलाओ, उनको भी मारो, एक भी सिख बचना नहीं चाहिए. ये मैंने कानों से सुना है. तो जो पुलिस की बात करते, जो 5 को उनको दोषी ठहराया है
जी.
ये जो है ये मोरा तो ये है, वो तो मोरे थे. ये है जो लीड करने वाला, जहाँ कत्ल कराने वाला, असली दोषी तो ये था. वो तो इसके कहने पे लगेंगे. वो तो छोटे लीडर थे ना, ये तो बड़ा लीडर था.
और आज के कोर्ट वर्डिक्ट के बाद क्या आपके ऑप्शंस हैं? आप आगे लड़ेंगे?
अरे भैया, मैं तो बिल्कुल टूट गई हूँ. बिल्कुल भरोसा नहीं रहा मेरा उसके न्यायपालिका पे. बिल्कुल भरोसा उठ गया है. क्या करेंगे? 5 आदमियों को तो दोषी ठहराता मेरी उसे अगुवाई से, तो एक को बरी करता. जब मैं हर वक्त कह रही हूँ कि ये दोषी हैं, ये कातिल हैं, ये दोषी है, इनको सजा होनी चाहिए सबसे पहले, नहीं तो दूसरों को भी छोड़ो. वो तो इसके मोरे हैं.
आपने आज जज को ये बोला, आपने बोला जाके कि भाई अगर ये इनोसेंट है तो बाकी 5 भी इनोसेंट है.
हाँ, मैं तो कह रहा हूँ, इनको क्यों उसको चक्करों में डालते हो? असली कातिल तो आपने छोड़ दिया. तो वो तो इसके मोरे थे, इसके कहने पे वो कत्ल कर रहे थे, तो उसको भी छोड़ो. तो मुझे फांसी दो. मैं तो बैग उठ गई थी जज पे, बड़ा मैं तो बैठी रही थी, जज को बाहर निकालो, वो मुझे फांसी दी. मैं फांसी लेने को तैयार हूँ, उसको सबको छोड़ो, मुझे फांसी दो। जब मेरे सारे, देखो इंदिरा गांधी को 2 गार्ड मारते हैं सिख, तो सजाए मौत देते हैं सब सिख बरादरी को,
जी
है ना, ये ना, घर जला दिए, परिवार मार दिए, सजाए मौत दी। ये 3-4 हजार का कातिल है, इसको सजाए मौत कहाँ मिलेगी? इशारों तो इनको भी चलता था ना, इनका राज चलता था, इनका इशारा चलता था। जब मैं पुलिस स्टेशन, जो पुलिस की बात कर रहे हैं, ये इनको सीबीआई पे भरोसा नहीं है कि उनकी इंक्वायरी बहुत अच्छी नहीं करी, जहाँ वो सीबीआई ने सब कुछ कराया, तो फिर सीबीआई को अच्छी वो क्यों मानते हैं? ये बहुत अच्छी है, वो इंक्वायरी अच्छी करती है, उन्होंने तो अच्छी करी है ना, तो उसकी उनकी मानी नहीं गई। थी वो पुलिस, जो कातिल पुलिस है, वो मेरे, देखो मैं तो ये देखा है, जब मैं पुलिस स्टेशन गई हूँ पहली को, बेटा मेरा मारा गया था, तो हस्बैंड, तो मैं पुलिस स्टेशन गई थी, भैया मेरा तो घर बर्बाद हो गया, सब कुछ जल गया, तो मेरा बेटा भी जल गया, घर भी जल गया, तो मेरी रिपोर्ट लिख लो। तो आगे पुलिस का क्या कहना था कि अभी तो बहुत मरेंगे, तो बहुत मर रहे हैं, हम किस किस की रिपोर्ट लिखें? हाँ जी, ऐसे ऐसे कहा, ऐसे किस किस की रिपोर्ट लिखेंगे? जब सब मर जाएंगे तो सबका इकट्ठा होगा जो कुछ होगा, ये पुलिस स्टेशन का कहना था।
एक minute. Manishankar Iyer, you say, what are you doing on this program? What does the Congress have to answer for? I just want to take you through the history of the multiple commissions that have been set up to look at the 1984 riots. The first one was set up by Ved Marwa. He's on record saying that when he went looking for the police case diaries, he found many of them blank. Because the police did not even want to register cases, they did not want to leave a trail behind. You have 6 officers of the Delhi police today testifying as defense witnesses. Do you blame families such as Jagdish Kaur, who lost everything in 1984, they're still fighting in 2013 for having lost faith in the capacity of our system to deliver justice today?
Why should I blame her? She's been given an opportunity by the judicial system, albeit very delayed, to present her case. She has made out, I presume, as persuasive a case before the court as she has made out before your viewers. It is for the court to make a decision. You have been playing up in the previous hour what the court has to say. I ask you to play up in this hour what the court has to say. She says that she is not satisfied with 5 people being found guilty. She feels that it will only be just if the 6th person is found guilty. But the court feels that it hasn't received adequate evidence, notwithstanding the evidence she has tendered, that the 6th person is guilty. And she says, if you don't hang the 6th person, you hang me. Now, I cannot dispense this kind of kangaroo justice in a country that is based on the constitution.
30 years
Tabdeel Singh may not like the country,
30
and I would be delighted to see her take her presence elsewhere. But
I didn't say it like the country.
System,
I didn't say
within our
that.
system,
I didn't
the
say
only
that.
way in which we can,
Take her
the only
presence
way we
elsewhere,
can secure
indeed.
justice is through the institutions
You know, the
of justice,
cynicism
and
of
the
what he's
institutions
saying.
of justice have not exhausted their capacity. And I would appeal to Jagbir Kaur
To spend
that
another
instead of
30
asking
years.
to be hanged, for which she has done nothing to deserve that hanging, she should continue to utilize the judicial system until it gets exhausted, like Zakia Jafri in Gujarat, to secure the justice that she seeks.
Okay,
I just
Tableen
don't
and then
believe
Mr.
this.
Phoolka. Yeah.
Do you know the cynicism of what this man just said? The cynicism. One, I didn't say I didn't want to be in this country, but I would be very happy to see someone like you not in this country, because your cynicism over the worst pogrom led by your political party, and you can talk like this after 30 years? If it was your children who were killed, like hers were, would you be sitting there so sanguine and saying, let her go for another 30 years? I'm sorry, these are, I'm shocked at you, Mani. I thought that you were a man of some sensibility and compassion. I'm really appalled.
Yeah, I saw the way you sucked up to me for 6 months after that.
Sucked up to you?
So I don't take your statement seriously.
Sucked up to you? How
You're
dare
just
you? What do you
a
mean
gossip
sucked up to you?
who goes to parties and writes books about it.
No, hang on.
I have no
Oh,
respect.
Hang on.
I've never had any respect.
Manish
This is not about me. It's about a political issue.
Mani Shankar Iyer.
Well, then keep it there.
Yeah, well,
Keep
don't
it there instead of
you
telling
dare
me
be
your
so
thing.
offensive.
You can say
I've
what you
seen
want.
you be offensive
But
to other
don't-
people. You're taking
trying to
someone
bring
on.
me in
I'm
using
sorry.
all kinds of
I'm
filthy
sorry.
adjectives. I reject
I
them.
said you were cynical.
Okay, let me just come in here.
Your
Mani,
mouth
you
is
really
full
are.
of
Mani
rubbish
Shankar
and
Iyer.
it should have been soaped out. of
Mani
this
Shankar
mouth.
Iyer, we are not discussing
I
Tavleen
know,
Singh.
my
We are
God.
discussing the
In that
1984
case, please
riots.
don't discuss me.
I wasn't
Discuss
discussing
the
you. I
issue.
said you were very
Why did you
cynical.
allow her to say all this rubbish?
Why
about
did you say you should leave this country? Who are you to say that?
Okay, I want to
Well,
come
I
back to
said
the
if you
issue.
if you don't believe in justice in this country, I said you can.
Let me
leave
ask
it.
you a question.
I didn't ask you to
Okay,
do it.
okay, here's
I
the
said
question.
You can follow
You said
up
you should-
your own description of this.
Okay,
country.
let's
Getting
please
out.
not personalize a conversation that is about a much larger issue.
Yeah,
Here's my
I know.
question.
Shame
Mani
on
Shankar
you.
Of
Iyer.
course. Go
1
back
minute.
to the major
Shame
issue.
on you.
1 minute. Mani Shankar Iyer.
Go back to the major issue.
Shame
What
on
shame
you,
on me?
Mani Shankar
Shame
Iyer.
on you.
Shame
You're the
on
most
you for
shameless
distracting
woman I never
attention
met
Okay,
in
by
my
being
life.
Tavleen and Mani.
You write these
Tavleen and
filthy
Mani,
books.
please,
Look,
please.
You based it
he's
on
taking
gossip.
away from the
I
main
think you
issue
are
by
a
talking
load of
about these
rubbish.
filthy books and things.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. There is a woman sitting here who lost 5 members of her
Tavleen,
family.
please let me answer.
Yes,
Tavleen,
Mr. Phoolka,
please.
go ahead. Mr. Phoolka,
Please
go
let
ahead.
me answer.
Yes, Mr. Phoolka, go ahead. Please,
Yes.
please. We are
Now-
not
now,
discussing
Mr.
a personal
Mr.
conflict.
Ravi-
We have to talk about the issue. Mr. Phoolka, yes.
That is right. So now when Mr. Mani Shankar talks about the kangaroo court, now Sajjan Kumar has produced in the court the action taken report of the government, and he says that the government rejected the recommendation of Nanavati Commission to
Yes.
register a case against him.
Yes.
And he say it is only under political pressure of my opponent the case is registered. Now, number one. Number two, what action the government has taken against that police officer who gives a clean chit and filed a closure report which Sajjan Kumar used in his favor? What action the government has taken against that police officer who has prepared the charge sheet, kept it in the file for 21 years, did not file in the court, and then after 21 years when this charge sheet will come today, then you will say law has taken its action, the courts have acquitted them. You are rewarding those officers.
Yeah.
You are rewarding those
Absolutely.
That's the
officers,
kind of
giving them
report.
promotions.
Yeah.
Now this is the kind of the justice which this party and the government believes in.
That's a kangaroo court.
Naresh Gujral, what happens next? The fact of the matter is that people who lose their families, whether in Gujarat or whether in Delhi in 1984, what sort of lonely battles do we expect them to fight to just keep at it for year after year after year after year?
Barkha, as Mr. Phoolka said, that those who are carrying on the investigations, they have a vested interest in ensuring that the guilty are not punished. It's shoddy investigations, and this will continue year after year unless Supreme Court steps in, or when the Congress government is not there and this fear is not there in these officers, probably the truth will surface.
Mani, let me ask you this. If the Congress did not feel accountable, why did the Prime Minister apologize? We say so often, why doesn't Narendra Modi apologize for what happened on his watch in Gujarat in 2002? The Congress did apologize, but it took 25 years.
I think that was a very sad thing. I really think the Congress should have apologized much earlier. What the Congress did instead, all these 25 years ago, was after Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi had ensured that within a couple of days of this rioting beginning, this pogrom beginning, it was brought to an end, and thereafter there was a continuous series of
What are you saying,
atrocities
Mani?
against
For
non-Sikhs.
3 days and 3 nights, the killings went on. Mr. Gandhi refused to call the army out.
All right,
Oh, people were begging him. People were begging your Home Minister, Mr. Narasimha Rao. People like Mr. I.K. Gujral, Mr. Chandrasekhar, Air Marshal Arjun Singh, General Arora. Time and again they were begging them. They refused to call the army out. Army was 40 kilometers away.
I'd like to say something else.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Mani, go ahead.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to complete my sentence. Mr. Phoolka is a lawyer. He knows the judicial process much better than I do. He also knows the case of Mrs. Jaffrey, who is fighting her lonely battle,
Yeah.
fighting it with the help of people like Teesta Setalvad, and who will continue until and unless she gets the kind of justice that she thinks she deserves. And I think Mr. Phoolka would well serve his clients if he were to persist along the same course, and instead of bringing these charges against an innocent TV guest, bring them against whomever he wishes in the courts of law.
Okay.
But I cannot accept that that somebody who is so determined that he has the version of the truth can prevail over the justice system. Now, if Mr. Phoolka has failed as a lawyer at this lower court, I give him my best wishes to succeed at a higher court. And as far as Mr. Naresh Gujral is concerned, let me assure him that over the last 20 years, there have been non-Congress governments in office for at least 8 years. During the course of those 8 years, he and his colleagues, including the party with which he's aligned just now, could have done everything that Mr. Phoolka desires that the government should have done.
Okay.
And the fact is that they failed to do it, perhaps because they couldn't do it.
Okay.
And in these circumstances, instead of trading insults and trading charges, it is best that they have further recourse to the justice system and continue to utilize it, just like that brave woman, Mrs. Jaffrey, is doing.
Okay, I have to end. Tavleen, a quick last word to you.
Okay, for a start, I want to back up Naresh on the army not being called out. I covered those riots. The minute they were not riots, I covered the pogrom. The day that the army was allowed to just be deployed, the mobs disappeared. Okay, so to say that the Prime Minister was trying to save Sikh lives, etc., he did not. Secondly, when we're talking about kangaroo justice, and it's taken 30 years for 3,000 people in this city alone to get even a semblance of justice, that is kangaroo justice. So let's be very clear that in this country, of which I am very proud, although Mani Shankar Iyer may not think so, I would like to see justice done, because I believe that we could have stopped this kind of violence years ago if justice was not just done but seen to be done.
Can I give the last word to Jagdish ji? Jagdish ji, आप आगे आप अपील करेंगी इस ये जो verdict है, आगे लड़ाई जारी रखेंगी?
देखो, मैं तो जब तक जीऊंगी लड़ती रहूंगी, तो इंसाफ का तो मुझे आपको पता ही है।
तो आप अपील करेंगे?
मेरा विश्वास तो टूट गया है बिल्कुल भी। मेरे पिताजी
मैं उनको मुबारकबाद देना चाहता हूँ
क्योंकि
आप लड़ते रहिए।
अरे भैया, मेरे पिताजी फ्रीडम फाइटर थे, आजादी की लड़ाई लड़ते थे, सारी उम्र जेलों में काटी है।
और हौसला देता हूँ आपको कि आप
हम रुलते रहे हैं,
न्याय के खोज में आप संघर्ष करते रहिए और अल्लाह करे कि आप जीत जाए।
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. It is a lonely battle. Easy for us to sit here and say keep fighting to women who have lost everything and then have to face a judicial system where it's taken now more than 2 decades for us to even reach this point. That is the real shocker. We wish you strength. हम चाहते हैं कि आपकी लड़ाई किसी तरह जहां से भी आपने हिम्मत पाई वो हिम्मत आपको और मिले। जगदीश कौर, तवलीन सिंह, मनी शंकर आयर, नरेश गुजराल, H.S. Phoolka. We leave it there. We're taking a quick break. When we return, the latest on the situation of Sarabjit Singh in Pakistan and why Salman Khurshid continues to take what many are calling a very oddly soft line on the Chinese incursions.